Hey guys, how are we? Well, absolutely freezing over here. Well, for me anyway. I think we're about 8 degrees, maybe 6 today. So it's, for me, it's refrigerator weather. Beautiful clear skies. I think we're going to be down to 1 degree on Friday. So not looking forward to that. Yeah, things are changing pretty rapidly, as I've been saying. And for here in Greece, we're getting into the Christmas mood, and a lot of Christmas markets opening up at the moment, and a lot of people buying stuff for the Christmas sort of festive season. But the funny thing is that a lot of people don't realise the unmedically modified people are unable to enter a lot of these businesses, which from what I understand is around 60% of your population. So you've basically in effect removed or disengaged about 40% of your economy. So there will be some aspects of that which are just online, so that's not going to affect the economy, but majority of it, like your little shops and markets, etc., they're all dependent on people spending money. So interesting times. It will be interesting to see how that sort of plays out in the new year, and the thing that I'm sort of waiting for is what happens when spring hits, because that's when you're going to start to see tourism open up again. And the tourist trade drops by 30% over the winter season, and they have a lot of historical things here in Greece, particularly in Athens and different other places. So people still come here during the winter time, but it's certainly not as popular as the summertime, when people sort of spend a couple of days in Athens and then they head off to the Greek islands, which is absolutely beautiful. The other thing you'll see in Greece is they think they're the best drivers in the world. They're some of the worst. So I've seen more accidents in Greece than what I have in my entire lifetime. And that's saying a lot. So there's a certain level of bravado that goes with them that the skill doesn't really accompany it, to be honest, and it's sadly lacking. I've seen some really tragic accidents. I've seen a couple of people be killed while I've been here, and from misgauging the timing of a train to driving a motorcycle headfirst into a wall, which never ends well. So some of the worst drivers in the world. I remember driving to Patras with my wife, and we just had a little hire car, and the speed limit here is 130 kilometres an hour on the freeway, and the roads are actually pretty good. But so they were doing work on the freeway, and we were on the inside lane, and the very inside lane was being worked on, so they're cutting all the hedges. So they got the witches' hats and marked them off. And so anyway, a car comes past us. We were doing 60, which was the speed limit. It came past us at 130 kilometres an hour at least, maybe 150. And our entire car shook. It was ridiculously close, like a couple of inches. and could have been a real tragedy. So in Greece, you take your life in your hands. So certainly wouldn't see anything like that. Mind you, I've seen that in Australia, but you would never see that typically anywhere else. From what I've been to a few places and not seen that sort of stuff. So that's driving in Greece. So I've lost my train of thought. But anyway, so things are interesting over here at the moment. I'll be waiting to see what happens in the spring, whether or not they lift a lot of these restrictions, because a lot of the economy here is built on tourism, and I can assure you a good portion of the population, not only here but globally, is not vaxxed. So that's going to impinge on profits big time. And as I said, this economy is fragile, definitely needs the money coming in. So I'm half expecting that all restrictions will be lifted during the summer, or sort of late spring, summer, and we'll see where things go from there. So interesting times. But did some research on Brazil, right? So I was going to do some a bit of a deep dive into Brazil, because I thought that might be another option, and I did a lot of comparing prices and that sort of stuff, and I'll still do it. But some federal court judge in Brazil turned around on Tuesday and said, you're not allowed to enter the country without having a vaccine passport. The government, on the other hand, has turned around and said, look, we're going to not mandate vaccine passports. We're going to allow tourists in. All they have to do is 5 days of quarantine. So anyway, somebody hacked into the government's quarantine database and wrecked that. So that's been put on hold, but you can still go in. But as I've been saying, a bit busy up there. As I've been saying, things are changing pretty rapidly, and I can just imagine that a lot of people are going to get to some of these places and find out, crap, you're not allowed in. So just keep this in mind when you're looking at this stuff, that you could be in a real spot of bother if you're not allowed into the country due to updated requirements. And that's really really important to know, right? So overseas exile is exactly it. If you decide that you want to leave, say, Australia or the US or Canada or the UK, and you're going to set out for another country and try and live a lot freer than what you are, just be forewarned. You could be in a bit of a spot of bother if it comes to changing or updated requirements. So keep that in mind, because then you're going to be stuck either going back to your home country, or who knows what's going to happen. So just be forewarned with that. Things are updating everywhere really quickly. So just be aware that you could be constantly traveling, and there are sort of limitations as to what you can take. And typically you're only allowed about 30 kilograms of luggage, and then 7 kg of carry-on, and that means that your sole worldly possessions will be about 37 kilograms. And so just keep that in mind, eh? So if you do endeavour on to sort of go on to this sort of lifestyle, you're going to be very limited on how many clothes you can take, what sort of equipment you can have. I mean, I've got a lot of photographic and computer equipment, and I'm even going through that process at the moment as to figuring out what I need to get rid of, what do I need to just try and take. And look, it's not easy. You know, we were discussing that, my wife and I, last week, and even selling all the current computers that we have all Apple stuff, and you know, I'm going to have to probably sell it all up and get something else. So yeah, so there's always changes, and you know, you travel business class, you get about 50 kilo all up, and I think it was 49 kilo, you know, roughly 50 kilograms, and which is a lot of luggage, so you don't want to carry that around. An experienced traveler will always tell you what you take is what you carry, and you don't want to be carrying that crap around. But so yeah, so anyway, we're certainly wrestling with that at the moment. We've packed basically for relocation, and we've been here for maybe 2 years now, and but a lot of that equipment's going to have to go, and you know, business models and all this sort of stuff that you initially have are all going to have to change. And so anyway, that's all the different things that we have to tackle. So just keep that in mind when you're looking at relocating. Is it going to be permanent, or are you going to be a perpetual traveler? Because you're going to have to buy the equipment and get rid of a lot of stuff in accordance with whatever plan that you're going to do. So you may, as I said, get to a situation like, I know Mexico at the moment has changed its tourist sort of visa. It was 180 days, and now it's been updated to some people get less than 10 days. So if you go to Mexico, you may sit there and think that you're going to get 180 days straight up. You may not get it. So just keep that in mind. If you've got the capacity to get permanent residency, you may need to do that. But the other thing that I would sort of say as well, you want to spend some time getting to know a culture and getting to know different locations before you invest money, because it's very difficult to liquidate. Once you buy a property, you've got to sell it if you don't want to stay there. And so getting to know a place is really important, and before you make that investment. So yeah, look, anyway guys, just thought I'd leave that with you. There are changes taking place. You really want to be cautious about how you do this. As I said, so this video is about a caution, and you know, we're seeing that play out at the moment in Brazil, and there's certainly a bit of a struggle taking place with different factions globally. One's pushing mandatory and the other's pushing freedom. So keep that in mind. The other thing that I thought I would just caution as well. Now, what you typically see in finance, this is not financial advice, but one of my key indicators when I'm looking at things and evaluating whether or not there's going to be a bit of a collapse, like a financial economic collapse, have a look at the really wealthy people like Elon Musk, for example, selling shares. So they liquidate their shares. There could be multiple reasons for that, but there's a few really wealthy people selling their shares at the moment within their companies. I think Elon Musk has sold billions of dollars worth of shares in the last, little while. The other one is look at art. Now, if you have a massive financial collapse, one of the things that you want to do is hold physical assets. You don't want to hold currencies. And what we're seeing at the moment is a record number of art and artifacts, etc., being passed in at auction through Christie's and other auction houses. That's another dead set giveaway that people in the know realize there's a correction coming. So just keep that in mind. So you'll also see gold level stocks. So I mean, stocks like Apple are basically considered a really good hedge in regards to a stable investment in massive market corrections. And Apple's basically gone, it's 5% off $3 trillion at the moment, which is unheard of. So it's the equivalent of gold in the stock exchange. So just keep that in mind. Draw conclusions whatever conclusions you may from that. So I feel like my face is about to freeze. But yeah, so just keep that in mind, because I think we could be on the cusp of something in the next couple of months. I've been saying it for a long while, but and I think we've been here a few times. The other thing that's interesting at the moment is the level of inflation in the US, and that is quite extraordinary. And when you consider that the US is the global reserve currency, that's a big thing. So the other thing that you'll also notice is mayors of different cities saying that they are going to be paid in Bitcoin. Another good indicator. So anyway, guys, hope you're well. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel, and I appreciate your feedback and all the comments. It's great. Just setting up the new servers for the website and forum at the moment. And you can go to the Overseas Exiles Facebook group and comment there. Help each other out with different bits of information. And I don't know, I'm looking forward to getting into a bit of a warmer climate in the next little while anyway. So we'll just see how things go. Got a bit to happen between now and then. All right, guys,